Hi everyone and good Wednesday evening. We're back for another edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. That's you, that's me. At least I think it's probably you if you're watching this video. We took a hit today in the 2-degree guarantee because we were off by 3. A little overachiever this afternoon. The high reached 88 today. Our forecast was 85. So our latest streak ended at 9. I'm confident we'll start a new one tomorrow, though. One thing for sure, it was so uncomfortable out there today. I mean, dew points were in the mid-70s all day. I woke up this morning and every window in my house was like steamed up. And I emptied my dehumidifier this morning and had to empty it again at dinner time this evening. So it's been kind of one of those days, just very, very tropical, the nature of this air mass. And that's why, part of the reason why we had some thunderstorms around this afternoon, and they produced quite a bit of rain in some places. Here's a look at the radar when I recorded this a little after 8. Not much other than some light rain, mostly in Trumbull County. The rest of the activity is kind of fizzling away as we head towards sunset this evening, and we lose the most unstable part of the day. So don't look for a whole lot from here on out. But particularly north of I-80, we had a fair amount of rain today. Around the Warren area, we had some hard downpours, and Doppler radar estimates here of a couple of inches worth of rain. Warren, Champion area. Then heading over towards the Hermitage area, around Sharon, Wheatland, Sharpsville, 1.5 to 2 inches estimated by the radar. Parts of Mercer County did pretty well at about 1.5 inches. One of our photographers was over in eastern Mahoning County earlier on. He said the water was not doing him any favors out towards Lowellville and Coatesville, and the Doppler radar estimates there are between 3/4 of an inch and an inch. A lot of standing water, he said, over there in eastern parts of Mahoning County. Here in downtown Youngstown on our rooftop weather station, 1/100 of an inch of rain. That's it. So we did pretty well last night, but today not so well, as the hole was from Youngstown on west into Austintown and Canfield, places like that. Last night, Trumbull and Mercer got missed. I told you, hey, hang in there. Don't despair. You're going to get rain. And sure enough, those places got more rain today. All right, for the rest of the night. Obviously, our model a little overdone here this evening, as it often is. We go through the overnight. There could be a shower. I think that's about it. There's an outside chance that a thunderstorm pops up, but I think it's a 20 to 30% chance kind of a thing. And by the time most of us are up and around and heading off to work tomorrow, we should be dry, and I think tomorrow is just about a rerun of today. Check out the heat index values tomorrow afternoon. Model here showing a little rain pushing in mid-afternoon, knocking down the numbers, but before the rain gets in, I mean, Calcutta, it's showing 98. Mercer 96, and I think this is reasonable. I mean, we had heat index values today, 93, 95 degrees, so no reason why we won't do it again tomorrow. And then Friday, as we've been advertising, probably the hottest day of the week. Now, our model here, our newest run, just came in and knocked down the numbers at the end of my loop here, but before the rain came in, some of these numbers were shown to be in the upper 90s to around 100 as far as the heat index goes on Friday, because I think the air temperature Friday will be close to 90, and the dew points will be just as bad as today. All right, again, tomorrow, repeat performance of today. We'll get into the afternoon. The atmosphere will get unstable. There'll be these hit or miss, widely scattered type of shower and thunderstorms. Most of them will fade away tomorrow night. And as we go to the day on Friday, our cold front starts to approach. Notice, if you look carefully, our wind streams here. A little bit stronger on Friday. This will be a breezier day. This is also a day I don't think there's quite as many thunderstorms around. One of the reasons why it's going to be so hot Friday. Probably a little sunnier, fewer thunderstorms. There will be some, but probably not as many as today and tomorrow. And so Friday's just a steam bath. And then we head into the weekend. And this is where the forecast starts to become a challenge. This front's going to stall. The question is, where's it going to stall? Is it going to stall like right overhead? Is it going to slide just to our south? That'll be very important to how the weekend plays out. Right now we're playing the weekend as pretty wet. With this front in the vicinity, there'll probably be streams of showers and storms that ride up along this front. And the modeling is pretty consistent in showing a lot of rain somewhere in this vicinity. Now, 50 miles can make a big difference, and it's only Wednesday. We can't really, get super detailed just yet on where the axis of heaviest rain will be. Well, one thing for sure, there's going to be a lot of moisture. Showed this graphic last night, calling it available moisture, but basically the meteorological term is precipitable water. It's basically a measure of from where you're standing up in a vertical column above your head, how much water vapor is in there. If you were able to wring it out like a sponge, how much water would come out. And we don't see 2-inch precipitable water values very often around here, but we've got them today. We'll have them through the weekend. You start getting into these orange colors, and Look at the legend up here, and that's about 2 inches. And around here, that only happens a couple of times in a typical summer. We're going to string together at least a few days in a row where those precipitable water values will be that high. Notice the drier air finally starts to make some inroads by early next week, so by Tuesday, it's kind of just back to normal August heat and humidity, not this ridiculous Florida kind of stuff. All right, two of our major medium-range models here, the GFS and the European, kind of diverge as you would expect in the medium range here, but generally speaking, a 2 to 3 inch range is still what they're advertising across our region. Total rainfall between now and early on Tuesday. That's what we call the deterministic runs. Let's take a look at the European ensemble model. Getting into some some geeky stuff here, but I know some of you really appreciate kind of the real geeky side of stuff. An ensemble model, basically, you take a parent computer model, if you will, and you take that main model, tweak the initial conditions in it that are baked into it, humidity, pressure readings, all that stuff, tweak it a little bit. And each time you tweak it, you run the model again, and you come up with various solutions. Well, you do that 50 times like you do with the European ensemble, and then you average all those runs together, you come up with a mean. And what we're looking at here is the mean, or the average of all those runs, the odds of more than 2 inches worth of rain through Monday. And as you can see, there's kind of a bullseye still around Northeast Ohio, Northwest PA. Pretty good odds. We're talking 60 to 80% odds of more than 2 inches worth of rain. What about more than 4 inches? The odds are lower, as you would expect, but notice again, there's kind of a bullseye in our region. So this is a pretty strong signal that we're going to be pretty darn close to the real meat of this moisture corridor. I think it's going to spell a pretty wet weekend, and I think that the chances of getting some drought-denting rains are pretty good. Whether we get 1.5 inches or 4 inches or 5 inches in your backyard, we can't say just yet, but pretty good chances for some drought-denting rains. Then the pattern's going to change next week back to just a more typical August pattern, and doesn't look that hot. I mean, average, or maybe just a shade above average. So we're going to be done with the high heat and humidity for a while once we get through late this week. The weekend will not be all that hot, but it'll still be humid and looking pretty rainy. All right, I've babbled long enough. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. Be sure and, of course, watch our Olympic coverage. And afterwards, at about midnight, we'll hit the air with 21 News, the late evening, or early morning, if you will, edition. I'll see you then.